Nowadays, increasingly, the DJs producing the best DJ mixes and transitions and DJ sets are relying on stuff that hasn't actually been in DJ gear for very long. In this lesson, I'm going to talk you through the 2 new features that have arrived just recently that it's becoming pretty important your gear has and why. And then we'll also talk about what you can do if you don't have them. So let's start by looking at a pretty good piece of DJ gear. This is a Rain 4 controller, and talk through those things. So the obvious things that you must have, of course, are things like the volume controls, the EQs, the effects. It's always nice to have an echo, for instance. Filters, they're pretty new, but not that new, and they're very useful. Obviously, the ability to change the tempo of a track, but also the ability to lock the tempo control so it only controls tempo and not pitch. And things like hot cues. So hot cues have been there for a long time now, but they're now massively important for DJing. So when you combine that with the looping controls to give you nice tight loops, 1 beat, half a beat, 4 beats, 8 beats, whatever, you've got pretty much all the basics nailed. There's 2 new ones, and that's what I want to talk to you about now, because the 2 new ones really have changed everything. Even DJs who, when they arrived, went, no, never, never, never. I remember Mojax made a video about one of these and said, I'm just not sure, I'm really not sure. And he's since admitted, look, it's amazing. These are 2 things that just people are using increasingly. The irony is that the biggest DJs playing on the biggest festival stages and so on are the last people to adopt these kind of things because they get added to that gear last. It's just how it is. These are in all DJ software nearly, as you're going to find out. And they're starting to appear in pro gear and stuff, but it's funny how they kind of trickle up rather than down to that kind of gear. Anyway, I digress. So we're going to talk about them now. So the first one we want to talk about then is our key adjustment. So key adjustment is allowing you to change the key of the track without, or the pitch, it's just another word for pitch, isn't it? Without changing the tempo. So it's the opposite of what I just showed you, right? I showed you here that you can set this so that you can speed it up or slow it down and it stays at the same pitch or in the same key. Again, that's the difference between that and that. So this here allows you to do just the pitch bit. In other words, you can get it lower or higher without changing the speed. And that sounds like this. Why would you want to do that? It sounds a bit rough, doesn't it, when you move away from the original key? Well, if you only move away by a note or 2, then if you use something called fuzzy key mixing, which actually we invented, and now the gear manufacturers are putting into their gear, which is pretty cool, you can actually harmonically mix or key mix any track into any other track. Think about that. Any track in your collection, you can make it musically match with any other track. And so if you combine that with the other amazing tools of DJing, we haven't mentioned sync, but sync is basically a way of automating that tempo stuff. If you combine that with beat sync, you can sync the beats up, you can sync the key up, and then you can use all the other amazing stuff that we're talking about to make that transition sound great with all the technical stuff done for you. Key sync is amazing. Key sync is absolutely game changing, and you must have it on your gear if you want to do modern DJing, right? So that's the first one. The second one is, have you guessed? It's usually on your pads, although some DJ gear nowadays tends to have its own knobs and buttons for it. It is real-time stems. So stems allows you to separate the parts of a track, the vocal, the melody, and the bass. These are sometimes combined. And the drums, in real time, at your fingertips. Instant mashups, instant a cappella mixes, instant instrumentals, instant mini breakdowns that you invent. They are absolutely essential nowadays. Let's have a little look at them. Let's make an instant instrumental. I like the sound of that guitar. Let's have a listen to that on its own with the drums. What's the bass doing? Okay, I'm leveling with you now. If you watched that and thought, don't need it, I do all my stems ahead of time. I don't even use that anyway. I'll actually just let the music play. Or you're thinking, I'm not ever going to do that key mixing stuff. I just trust my ears. It's what I've always done. Look, there's a million reasons why you might not want to use this stuff, and that's absolutely fine. DJing's a broad church. But if you've been watching this far and you're thinking, yes, I want this stuff, and you will think it if you watch all the most creative DJs that you see on socials and that you see the transitions that we share in our courses and so on, you do need it. So let's talk through whether you've got it, and if not, what to do about it. The good news is if you've got DJ software, any kind of DJ software, it can do it. They might make you pay a bit more for the privilege. I'm looking at you, Serato, but you can do it. And I'm talking now about key sync and about key shift. And also, nearly all software is absolutely fine with stems. And the only problem with software and stems is whether the controllers actually got the controls to control the stems. It's always in the software, but some controllers struggle to control it. Where is it? The controller that we recommend all the time to people is the Flex 4 from Alpha Theta. And they haven't made it easy if you've got this. You can remap buttons to do it, but you need to do a bit of fettling. But ultimately, it's possible, right? So DJ software, Tractor, Serato, Rekordbox, Algorithms DJ, Virtual DJ, all of that lot, they have got this in it and you're good to go with both of them. It's not quite so simple if you use equipment that doesn't have a laptop with you. In other words, you're not a software DJ. You use a USB drive, in other words. If you use engine DJ equipment, and we're talking all the way down from the Numark Mix Streams. This is a Numark Mix Stream, a lovely little device, absolutely perfect way to get started with DJing because it's got everything you need in it, including speakers and battery. But if you use this kind of device, that's an engine DJ device. And other engine DJ devices come from companies like Denon DJ and Rain. If you use those, they've all got key shift in them, and they've either got straight out of the box, or you pay, I think it's a $10 one-off fee to get the real-time stems. That said, you need to analyze them ahead of time on the software, right? But that's just a step. So they've got that, so you're good to go. If you've got Alpha Theta Pioneer DJ standalone gear, then at the moment, the higher end stuff, the very higher end stuff has the key shift. None of it has real-time stems. So that's the real problem area if you're a standalone gear user. So we're talking about things like the XDJ AZ, the XDJ RX3, even the CDJs don't have real-time stems yet. The CDJ 3000X, the one that the pros use, does have the key shift. Right, so what do? Well, there's two things. The first thing, which is what the pros do, is they prepare that stuff ahead of time and they take the recordings. They take the a cappella that they've made themselves, they take the drums they've made themselves, using the same kind of stuff that I was showing you down here. They'll use their software at home to prepare that kind of thing, and they'll just have that version in their set on their USB drive, so they're just playing it as a track, right? So that's one way around it. And the most boring way around it is just to prepare the whole thing you want to do, the whole transition you want to do ahead of time. Again, the pros tend to do this using Ableton. They'll prepare a mashup that they could do live if they were using software, like most of us, but that they can't because the Pro Gear won't do it. And they'll then just play that version, which is a bit boring really for us. We like to do our stuff live, don't we? So there's a couple of ways around it there. By the way, the third thing you should do, honestly, is just wait, because this stuff is getting better all the time. The next generation of gear, I'm almost certain will have both of these features in it. As I say, they're becoming so universal. The reason I'm telling you all about this, and by the way, at this point, I want to say your combination of software, your combination of gear, if you can't find it, you can't get it to work underneath, we love helping with this stuff. There's always a way, apart from in those cases where it just is a piece of gear that hasn't got it yet and it can't be changed. And as I've just told you, even then there's sometimes a way. The reason I'm talking to you about this now is that we've just dropped a course that, as well as using all the stuff that I showed you at the beginning, all the basic stuff of DJ, so you know, all the EQs and the volumes and the effects and the loops and the cues and all this stuff, also uses both of these to great effect. It uses key shift and it uses stems to show you amazing transitions. So we're talking mashups and tone plays and live remixes and just mini mixes, just stuff you could never ever do even a couple of years ago. It's with the biggest tunes ever made, the biggest dance floor classics ever. We're talking disco and house and pop and hip hop and Latin and all those tunes everyone knows and loves. but given the DJ twist that modern gear can let you do. So if you use anything we've talked about and you know you've got these features, you really are going to want to take a look at this course because it will push your DJing way forward. So do take a look. There's a link there now, but also in the description. And do tell me underneath, you know, is Keysync good? Are real-time stems just a joke? Is all of this stuff too much and you just want to play records? I want to know what you think. We always like chatting DJing, as you know. So that's me, Phil, here in the studio saying get good, get out there, make the moments, and I'll see you again very soon. Bye for now.